You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, after what it seems like has been forever, Caitlin Clark returns to a basketball court tomorrow. Tomorrow is December the 12th, and USA Basketball will take the court in Durham, North Carolina. Caitlin Clark is on the U.S. Women's National, I don't want to call it the national team. This is simply the invitees at this point. They got to determine who's going to be on the team, yada, 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 who's made the team. Sue Bird is now the managing director. Man, again, I talk about agenda a lot on this channel. Yikes. So, here we go. Some of the biggest names in the women's basketball are in the triangle this weekend, but unless you have an invite from USA Basketball, you won't be catching a glimpse. USA women's national team is holding a closed camp at Duke University December 12th through the 14th, bringing 17 of the sport's biggest stars to Durham as preparations ramp up for the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup in Berlin. This is the first national camp overseen by Kara Lawson, Duke's own women's basketball coach, who was appointed to lead the Team USA through 2028. It's also the first camp for managing director Sue Bird, the four-time Olympic gold medalist now responsible for assembling the next World Cup and Olympic rosters. Oh boy, we're going to see how that's going to go. I don't know. A mix of players training on Duke's campus include established Olympic champions, rising WNBA stars, and some of the most talked about young players in the sport. Kaylee Copper, Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Brittany Griner. Major veterans participating: Derica Hamby, Brianna Jones, that's 3x3. And then, of course, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Bueckers, Cameron Brent, and it goes on and on from there. By the way, Aaliyah Boston, Sonia Centron are part of that. This camp marks the beginning of a generational handoff for USA Basketball. Sue Bird and Lawson leading the program the next 2 years will shape how the team looks for 2026's World Cup and the Olympics. Man, I got to tell you, if somehow, some way, Caitlin Clark ends up not on these squads, oh my God, the world's going to freaking explode. So, Sue Bird made some comments about this entire situation. Quote, "I've definitely had some moments where it's like, oh, I'm not a player anymore. This is totally different. Like, oh, I have to wear all of my team-issued stuff now," Bird told the media Thursday afternoon. "But for the most part, it's been great. Everybody with USA Basketball has been super helpful." For now, Bird is content to be, quote, "a fly on the wall" and observe the young player pool on hand in Durham. Juju Watkins to my knowledge, is not actively practicing. Quote, "It's a great opportunity to get their first feel, to get their first taste." Bird said not to read into the absence of marquee stars like Asia Wilson, Nephisia Collier, and Brianna Stewart. With months to go before the next competition, USA Basketball cast a wide net of invitations, knowing some players may have other obligations at the time of the basketball season. Quote, "In the landscape of women's basketball, which is ever-changing off-season opportunities are ever-changing, I don't think any player that you might think would have been here, not been here, has a larger meaning." Why wouldn't we think that? I mean, if you invited a player, shouldn't everybody that even has a sniff of being on this team be there? So she just basically said those three players, they don't have to be here, but, there's a good chance they're going to be on the team. Okay. If you say so. Well, we try to get multiple camps in throughout the year because you do want to have everybody to get a taste of it so you can have carryover, right? So by the time you get to the World Cup, people have been involved at some point to have a feel for that. Goes on to talk about many veterans. I think we talked about that just a minute ago. Quote, this is when the veterans really come alive, right? This is when they can be a huge part of setting that tone, not just the coaches, but those vets. I mean, they've been here. They know what it's like, and with the way they act, maybe with the way they can be vocal, they're going to teach the young players. Okay, but something I would want to keep in mind is they passed on Caitlin Clark to include a dinosaur in Diana Taurasi. I mean, that's great that you want veteran leadership, but you should not give up actual spots for people that literally will end up getting a DNP, which Taurasi did. You know? I mean, to me, if you got a shot of being on this team somehow, some way, you should have to be here. I don't know how you guys feel about Sue Bird. It's got me a little concerned. We know Gino Auriemma's already been out there running his mouth about the fact that Paige Bueckers, a UConn alum, one of his, like Sue Bird, could be the next Sue Bird on this Olympic team. I mean, is anything is anything involving WNBA players or women's basketball without some seedy, under the table, back alley plot going on? Does it not seem like a lot of these situations have been predetermined? I mean, I hate to use the word rigged, but it just seems like if you scratch the right boxes, check the right boxes, scratch the right backs, you got a chance to, get the call, get the priorities. Man, women's basketball has seriously got to get away from that. If they want this league to grow, the WNBA, if they want the sport to grow, they've got to get away from that. Take the agenda out of women's basketball. It's unbelievable. So tomorrow, Caitlin Clark is going to be on a basketball court practicing against other actual players, shooting threes. I have no idea if there will be any footage of it, but if there is, you bet your ass I'm gonna try to have it on here. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.